7,000 Christians have been killed in Nigeria this year. 7,000. According to Newsweek, the story came out.
Even the hostel they built new in this school is Fulani that are sleeping inside the hostel. They're raping our girls in this school. They're stealing from us. We're no longer safe in this school. We're no longer safe. We don't have security. No light. No fence.
As of yesterday, we had an attack in the school. And this year alone, we've had series of attacks. We've already told the school about it. Nothing has been done about it. They keep telling us that they will get back to us. Even to the extent they told us that if there is no evidence to what we've been saying.
Was ambushed while coming back from work yesterday night by some Fulani men in my own school. We were just passing the field. We just wanted to come out from that field side, the back of the building. The guys just came out, 3 of them with sharp cutlass. They held me by my bag. I could not run. The girl, they just stood by the girl, telling the girl, give me your phone, give me your phone, give me your phone. She said she does not have phone. She does not have phone. I was trying to tell the guy, bro, relax now. Let's talk this thing out. He just swing the cutlass to my leg. I used my hand to block it. That was how the thing just cut me on my hand.
To protect us, to guide us, Lord, to see us through, to fight for us, to give us hope in the name of Jesus.
From Asaba to Benue, from Enugu to Plateau, villages in all of Igbo land and beyond have known the same nightmare. Families cut down in the night, churches in ruins, children orphaned. So the Igbo people who still carry the scars of the genocidal war, this reopens old wounds. The violence unleashed by Fulani terrorists masquerading as herdsmen has become another dark chapter, what many call the silent genocide against Christians and against the identity of the entire Christian communities. In the Middle Belt, Christian majority villages, many with deep Igbo populations, have been overrun completely. In Benue State, for instance, attacks since 2016 have claimed thousands of lives. Amnesty International recorded 3,641 deaths between 2016 and 2018. That's 2 years alone. After targeting churchgoers and farmers, that was the outcome. But the flames have not even spared Igbo land itself. Border communities like Enugu, Ebonyi, Anambra have faced repeated raids. Families in Uzoawane and Ehamufu in Enugu State and parts of Ebonyi State have buried their loved ones after night assaults blamed on armed herdsmen. They will usually say unknown gunmen or unknown herdsmen or bandits. There is usually a euphemism for these terrorists. In Ehamufu, scores of lives were killed in the 2022 Christmas attacks.
Problem in Ehamufu bondi Fulani. Kambe aro anokita kandi Fulani bidori make banyono. Ayi bundi Ehamufu nde jiri we maro. Ejiri me mari Ehamufu onye buna na abia na ala Igbo ga-ama ihe banyere ala Igbo bụ ihe Ehamufu. Anyị na-aza eke Ehamufu. Ndị ọbụla na-abịa eke Ehamufu bụ ka ha jee zụta nri na Ehamufu. Ma taa ndị Ehamufu na-ejezi ebe ọzọ ka ha jee zụta nri. Ma because of ndị Fulani. Anyị amara ebe ndị Fulani si wee bata n'obodo anyị. Bịazie jide ọbụna dị obodo anyị ebe obodo 17 wee chụpụ ndị mmadụ ebe anyị nwe ọbụna ọgbọnọ nwere nkwụ nwere ebe anyị na-akọ ugbo nwere ebe anyị nwere ụlọ akwụkwọ nwere ebe anyị nwere ụlọ ọgwụ n'ime agụba anyị ebe anyị bi lọsere onwe anyị dị ka ndị nọ na be ha all of a sudden ndị Fulani wee bata wee bido igbu ndị be anyị kemgbe ka anyị na-agwa unu na ha na-egbu ọtụtụ mgbe ha egbuo mmadụ 20 ọtụtụ mgbe ma ha egbuo 30 ọtụtụ mgbe ha ebere mmadụ ara ọtụtụ mgbe ha ebere mmadụ onweghị ha Fulani na-emebeghị anyị na-eti mkpu kemgbe na-agwa gọọmenti of Enugu steeti gọọmenti of Nigeria, government of isi local gọọmenti biko si nyere anyị aka maka na akwa anụ a ọ bụrụ na ya awachi ụmụ nwaanyị niile ọ n'ebe a ndị a bụ ndị o metụtara. O mere m ụzọ adịrọ n'ihe amụfụ tata maka na ihe anyị mere na ụzọ adịrọ ọbụla ndị ihe amụfụ si ọ bụrụ na ha ka bụ ndị obodo a si mee ka ha mara na ha bụ ndị obodo a gọọmenti gee ha ntị. Ọ bụrụ na ha bụ ndị obodo a biko gọọmenti biko gee ha ntị ka e wee nwee ike napụta ha n'ọnọdụ a. Oge anụ a bụ oge ọrụ ugbo ndị a niile n'ebe a bụ ndị si n'ebe ha bi wee kwafu wee lọta na-abịa nọ n'ebe mmadụ agụ a na-egbu ndị be anyị ụmụ okorobịa anyị egburu egbu dị ọnkantebụl denụ ndị nọ n'ụlọ mkpọrọ kịta bụ ọnkantebụl. Ọ bụrụ na ngwere ka nwa okorobịa si megide na ha mfụ etiti eje tinye na prison biko nụ gọọmenti of Enugu steeti gọọmenti of Nigeria biko si nyere anyị aka na ihe amụfụsi biko anyị na-arịọ biko si nyere anyị aka abịakwa anyị na-akwara unu nyere unu obi kịta anyị ebidogo ọtụtụ mmadụ bụ ndị nwụrụ na-abụrụ ndị Fulani gburu mara ndị Fulani gburu ihe Fulani ji gbu ndị a bụ na ha natara ego na gọọmenti jee kọọ rice den ndị Fulani kpọrọ efi kpobe na ugbo rice ha wee taa ya onye ahụ cheche echiche ka ọ ga-esi ekwuo egwu gọọmenti ụgwọ ọ natara bank onye ahụ nwụọ ọrụ onwe biko nụ lenu na-enyi lenu na ya amụfụ lenu na ndị
In Ebonyi, entire hamlets have been emptied and wiped out by terror raids. These are not faceless humans. They are Igbo sons and daughters, Christians, whose only crime was planting crops or worshipping God. As one widow said in one of the interviews that broke my heart, in tears, she said, "We survived the war, but now they have come again at night and no one protects us." Her cries echoed across the valleys of Anioma, Nsukka, and beyond. Cries echoed in all of Igbo land where these attacks have not even abated. These attacks continue everywhere up to the stretches of Ebanke and Uromi in Edo State. These attacks have continued. Renowned podcaster Patrick Bet-David that runs the PBD podcast dedicated time to discuss the unique and peculiar problem of Christian genocide in Igbo land and Nigeria as a whole. Take time to listen to his podcast.
7,000 Christians have been killed in Nigeria this year. 7,000. According to Newsweek, the story came out. And you don't hear much about it. Okay? You don't. You hear a lot more about Gaza than you hear about Christians. Christians get killed. Even some Christians don't talk about it enough. They put more focus onto what's going on with Gaza because it's easier to have a enemy that is disliked than this. However, this is the reality of it, what's going on in Nigeria right now. 7,000 Christians have been killed during the first 220 days of 2025. A civil society watchdog says this is an average of 35 killings a day, according to a recent report published by the Nigeria-based human rights NGO and International Society for Civil Liberties and the Rule of Law. Nigeria has long been an epicenter of Christian persecution, with more Christians killed for their faith in Nigeria than in the rest of the world combined. Damn. According to human rights organization Open Doors, which monitors the persecution of Christians around the globe, the violence has displaced at least 12 million Christians since 2009. 16 years, according to Inner Society. That year marked the start of Boko Haram's insurgency to establish a caliphate in Nigeria and the broader Sahel. In the 16 years since, Inter Society estimates 189,000 civilians have been killed, 125,000 of whom were Christians and 60,000 were liberal Muslims. The Inter Society reports that 7,087 Christians were killed in Nigeria between January 1st and August 10th, and that 7,800 were abducted in the same period. The report identified Benue State and Nigeria Middle Belt as among the hardest hit, with at least 1,100 deaths, including the Yalawata massacre in June, with 280 Christians were killed. Rob, if you have a clip to play, is this the clip of the gentleman explaining what's going on, or this is the one that I'm running out? Okay, go for it. It's after church service, I believe, by the way.
That's every gunshot you're hearing is hitting in person.
My people, my family members, they died in this house. 11. And some died in the other store. 8. Some died here. My whole family members that died yesterday, day before yesterday, on that very day, there were 20. That is my own family members. I'm not talking about any other thing. That is my own family members. This is my store. Those shops are my stores. Those places are being burned.
Please walk.
Those places, this place is being burned. Here and up, my house is up there. That place also is burned. And the store where I pack my goods, I store my goods everywhere, has burned. They burned my clothes, they burned everything, they burned our food, all my family members. What we came out with is our clothes, what we wear. And I, standing here, this is what I came out with. And this is the only thing that I have. There's no anything with me.
Vinny, thoughts?
Going back to exactly what I was talking about, and it's like, I'm going to be honest. I had no idea. And why is that? Because the mainstream media doesn't give a damn, and they're not reporting this. It took Bill Maher. And you guys know me. I'm one of the most critical about this freaking guy, TDS. He goes back, he goes left, he goes right. It took him having Nancy Mason to bring this up. Bob, you want to play this clip?
Yeah,
play this clip, please.
Nigeria, I mean, the fact that this issue has not gotten on people's radar.
Right, no one's talking about it.
It's pretty amazing. If you don't know what's going on in Nigeria, your media sources suck.
Yep.
You are in a bubble. And again, I'm not a Christian, but they are systematically killing the Christians in Nigeria. They've killed over 100,000 since 2009. They've burned 18,000 churches. This is so much more. These are their Islamists, Boko Haram. This is so much more of a genocide attempt than what is going on in Gaza. They are literally attempting to wipe out the Christian population of an entire country. Where are the kids protesting this?
That's a great point. Thank you. Because no one will talk about it, so thank you.
Absolutely.
And so why? Is it because, and he said this, Adam, I know you said this at the point, I got to give you credit where credit's due. No Jews, no news. Okay? This is a calling for all the Christian people. Like, where are you at? And you said it, I had to highlight it. In 2023, 4,100 Christians killed. That's 82% of all faith-based related killings worldwide. Guys, 84% of every Christian dying is right there. Okay, and meanwhile, guess what the U.S. lawmakers are pushing? They're pushing. They haven't declared anything, labeling Nigeria a country of particular concern. All right, what particular concern? The concern is there, and this guys, and the most powerful part. And I have to hold back my freaking emotions with all this persecution, Pat. 94% of Nigerian Catholics are still going to mass every week. Their faith is freaking unshaken, even in the face of death. Rob, can you play this clip? Look at this. Look at that. They're refusing. Holy moly. God bless them. Look at this.
We praise your name.
Wow. You can stop it, Rob. So that's what faith over fear. Look at that, Tom. Faith. And they're not stopping. They're not stopping. And I absolutely love Pat. They can't. What are they going to do? Bow down and say, no, we're sorry. No. You got to stick up for your faith, and that's it. Wow.
Tom.
This is heavy stuff. And I'm glad to finally see it coming out in media so that people can see the truth of what's going on in this world. This is why the world needs a savior. And what you have here is you have people understanding that a church is not a building. A church is a gathering of believers who are supporting each other, holding hands in the remnant of a building there, not knowing if their oppressors are going to return to finish the job on them. That is faith in action. That is faith over fear. And what you also have is, although Nigeria is rich in resources, they got a lot of natural resources. The way to get people to help you in this world is to have oil, to have gold, or have rich minerals, and then the West that needs those is more likely to give you aid and come help. That's not a criticism, that's a fact. And The thing that inspires me is that these people are living and trying to do it. What further inspires me is the churches and organizations around the world that are continuing to send missionaries and relief supplies into these areas. Darfur has been going on for 20 years now. Darfur, 20 years. And so to understand the power of the faith is to see it right there and to say, what could make someone there simply come together and pray? Not pick up arms, not go on a retaliation mission, but to come together and pray in encouragement. That's what this is all about. The number one persecuted group on earth is Christians. You can spin it any way you want, but you'd be wrong. This is what's happening. And they're returning prayer and peace in the face of persecution. And you've got governments, in this case, it happens to be a Sunni side of the Islamic tradition that is in control of the government, that is systematically trying to wipe everybody else out, specifically the Christians. And the reason the Christians are dangerous, if you ask, they will tell you, is because they're fearless and they keep talking about Christ and they keep attempting to bring the good news of Jesus to other people, which causes people to convert. It's not political. It's not. Are you scared about carrying a Republican or a Democrat voter ID? No, I'll just carry independent. So if anybody steals my wallet, they won't pick on me. No, these are people that are bringing the good news of Jesus Christ, and these people are unafraid. And that is what the other side fears, is the power of the Holy Spirit and people converting. So what do? They think that by burning the churches and killing the people that they're doing it. This is horrifying. But they are liberating, but they are also inspiring people to be missionaries, to reach out and do it. And I just wish that the attitude of the media wouldn't be the right people are dying.
Yeah.
Adam.
Well, I don't know how you guys haven't noticed this, but this is something that's been going on for years and years and years and years, and the media just doesn't cover it. But it doesn't take an investigative journalism to realize that the following, they famously say, not all Muslims are terrorists, but all terrorists just happen to be Islamists. And I would like to separate what it is between it being an Islamist or jihadist, between a normal, peace-loving Muslim. Like, let's get real here. But all these groups have something in common, whether it's ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Taliban, the Boko Haram that's just murdering Christians in Nigeria, whether it's the Islamic Jihad, whether it's the Houthis in Yemen, they're all jihadists. So which makes me wonder, Hamas is literally one of these groups. This is their function. They want to kill people who are not like them. The only difference is all these other groups are focusing on Christians. Hamas just happens to be focusing on Jews. But they famously say, first they come for the Saturday people, but then guess what? Then they come for the Sunday people. These people do not want to coexist. What don't you get, guys? What don't you get? I mean, you might have your criticism of what's going on in Gaza, but Jews or Israelis, because not all Israelis are Jewish, have a very deep understanding of it's kill or be killed. Unfortunately, you think you're going to negotiate with Boko Haram? You think you're going to reason with these people that are literally mowing people down? They're leaving church. They have a higher calling from Allah to commit jihad or practice jihad, and there's nothing stopping them. Pat, you always talk about choose your enemies wisely, and you give credit to your enemies. You give them credit because they're very clear in what they want. They want to take you out in business, or they want to take you out in life. And it's very clear what's happening. You said no Jews, no news. Correct. Why are there protests just for Gaza? I mean, show me a protest for what's going on in Nigeria. Christians getting mowed down, nothing. Show me a protest for what's going on in Sudan, millions of people. Show me a protest of what's going on in Ukraine at this point, nothing. So the hypocrisy that comes from, it's a genocide in Gaza. There's other countries in the world where Christians are being persecuted, not just persecuted, killed, beheaded. You see what's going on in Syria.
That's literally, they're trying to do 125,000 people.
Murdering. You see what happened with the Druze and the Christians in Syria. But, I always have fun when I see people doing the Free Palestine. Okay, cool, I respect that. And I said, you see these interviews. Why are you doing this? We're anti-war. We're anti-war. Great. Name me one other protest you've ever been to. Name me one other. No, this is the only thing I've ever done. So that's the hypocrisy, that they've never gone to any other anti-war protest other than what's going on in Gaza.
I tell you what, though, man. Let me tell you guys. If there's anything, like I had a very intense conversation with one of my kids last night. Very intense conversation with one of my kids last night. You have to be very careful, man, to not fall for the mob. And just because somebody is so convincing in their delivery of their message, you cannot be, and you may sit there and you may be like, well, he seems like he's this, he seems like he's that, he seems like he's this. And he's like, yeah, oh my God, that's what they're doing. And you're like, oh my God, I'm feeling it. And you're like, hey, pump the brakes, bro. This is how you all of a sudden get recruited into a mob. Be very, very careful of how you get manipulated and brainwashed into certain things. Okay? You have to be. They do it to kids. They do it to adults. It doesn't matter if you're 70 years old, 80 years old, 22 years old, 42 years old, or 13 years old. They're going to come after you to try to brainwash you. And almost, you know what percentage falls for it? You know what percentage falls for it? What percentage of people think fall for brainwashing? For the mob? What percentage? I'm going to give you a number. I bet you're not going to get it right. What do you think the number is?
80 to 90.
What percentage falls for it? I'm going to tell you a number.
For the brainwashing.
Falls for the mob.
90.
Getting a hold of your brain.
90%?
And you're like supporting something that's absolutely
ridiculous.
90? What percentage falls for it?
I'll say 90.
I'm going 66.
What are you going to say?
Yeah, 40%, 50%.
100%. All of us do.
See that?
All of us do. Anybody who's sitting here acting like, oh, that would never happen to me, you're part of it as well. No one walks on water. I'm telling you, for myself, I have to watch for it. I'm better off thinking all of us are, are potential victims to falling for the mob. Everybody. Good, bad, horrible people, it doesn't matter. The most noble person can fall for the flipping mob. This is not about like, I have more education, it can't happen to me. The most educated people have been bought into the mob. The ones with the fanciest degree that are part of this community are recruited into the mob, by the mob. Go to universities. Where do you think most of these dumb protests are happening? Where? And you ask them basic questions they don't have an answer for.
Also recently, during the Independence Day broadcast, Nigeria's President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu mentioned these particular attacks against Christians, even visiting Plateau State to commiserate with them. We have also seen the speech of the Pope Leo concerning the genocide against Christians in Nigeria as a whole.
Nella notte tra il 13 e il 14 giugno, nella città di Yelewata, nell'area amministrativa locale di Guma, nello stato di Benue, in Nigeria, si è verificato un terribile massacro in cui circa 200 persone sono state uccise con estrema crudeltà, la maggior parte delle quali erano sfollati interni, ospitati dalla missione cattolica locale. Prego affinché la sicurezza, la giustizia e la pace prevalgano in Nigeria, paese amato e così colpito da varie forme di violenza. E prego in modo particolare per le comunità cristiane rurali dello Stato di Benue, che incessantemente sono stati vittime della violenza.
The world has finally taken notice. And yet, decades after the Asaba massacre of 1967, the Igbos still find themselves unprotected and unheard, sadly. The Nigerian state dismisses these killings as communal clashes. That is the sad part of it. But Igbo communities know that this is systematic targeting of Christians and of identity, trying to wipe out the Igbo people. So a people like ours, who have long struggled for justice and remembrance, the silence of the world concerning this It's very painful, and even more painful than the sound of genuine gunfire. When we died during the Biafra War, the world was silent. Is this not history repeating itself? I'm just asking, is this not history repeating itself? Very few people have taken note of what is happening in Nigeria and in Igbo land precisely. What you will only see in the news is what is happening in Gaza, because as they say, no Jews, no news. They're only interested in what happened in Gaza. They talk about the Holocaust. The Holocaust did not claim more lives than the lives that were lost during the Nigerian genocidal war against the Igbos. The Holocaust did not claim more lives than the number of lives that are claimed daily. This is 2025. And as at the 220-something days of 2025, over 7,000 lives have been lost, according to what you listened from our brother PBD broadcast. Where are we headed with all this violence against Christians? The first time we heard about this was from the now detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. He was the first to sound this alarm that they are coming to wipe us out. And a lot of people called him a fulefu. They called him all kinds of names. This is where we are today. That the community will be attacked, wiped out, and they say, oh, it's just bandits. Oh, it's just farmer-sellers clashes. It's just two communities fighting against each other. They dismiss it with a wave of the hand. Listen to what Truth Nigeria had to say about their reports concerning Nigeria. Just listen to what Truth Nigeria reported.
There was no Truth Nigeria. There was no media organizations. And you know what was happening to those people? To Lawrence and Masara Kim and all of them? The journalists sitting in the big capital cities, the big cities and in the capital, who were taking the line from the government and didn't have the courage or the integrity or the professionalism or the character or the motivation to go to those frontline villages. They just bought the line from the government that it wasn't really happening, and they bought the line from the U.S. State Department that this is nomadic tribesmen being forced to move from climate change. The Fulani are not really terrorists. Oh, the fact that they're Muslims got nothing to do with it. Because they're nomadic tribesmen, they're looking for other land. They're looking to go somewhere, you know, and that's forcing them to clash with the Christian villages. Nonsense. That's absolute nonsense. That is just an example to you of how climate has been used as a scam. I mean, it's not just fake. It's much worse than that. All of these systems that are being implemented that are so profoundly dishonest, they're systems of control. How do we control the people, control the information and the narrative, and then have that as cover to do whatever it is that we want to do, which, by the way, is to go into Christian villages and not only annihilate people. I mean, in one of the recent attacks that Truth Nigeria has reported on, putting women in...
The journalists are complicit in this. Their silence is also adding to the impurity of those carrying out these attacks. Even those carrying out the attacks come with their weapons gladly to come and receive amnesty. They come with their weapons and give terms and conditions to the Nigerian state, who continually go to attack those who are unarmed in Igbo land. The world should hear our voice. I'm making this video so that the world can hear our plight and come to our rescue. In case you think this is just a Christian issue, this is not only a Christian issue. This is an Igbo issue. This is an Igbo matter. It is about the survival, dignity, and justice for the people of Igbo land. From the pogroms of 1966 to the Civil War massacres, to the Asaba pogrom, to the Ishago massacre, to the killings in Awashuku and every other part of Igbo land, to the killing in Usobo, Igbo blood has continued to be spilled as if it doesn't matter, without apology and without accountability. The government continues to say, we are on top of the matter. We are on top of the matter, and the journalists downplay it. You don't get to see the news and the cover of newspapers. We cannot continue to be silent. We must name it, share it, and demand it. The killings has to stop, and justice has to come. Justice should be served. We have not seen anybody in courtrooms the same way they parade Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. We have not seen anybody in courtrooms for charges against terrorism. For charges relating to terrorism, we have not seen people go to court and be sentenced for charges related to terrorism. Terrorism that has been going on now for over decades. We have not seen people being sentenced. But we are seeing people who come out to ask for self-determination, being sentenced, being bullied in courtrooms. If this video has moved you, you do not have to scroll away. Share it. Pray for the victims. Demand justice for the Igbo communities. Demand justice for the Nigerian Christians, for every farmer, for every woman who is now a widow, for every child who is now fatherless and even motherless in most cases. In my community, Ubuluku, they would kidnap someone in the front of their children, sometimes even rape a father or a mother in front of their children. Such abomination is what we have come to experience in our homeland, and we are speaking out for the world to hear. We are speaking out for the world to see that this is what is going on in Nigeria, that there's an attempt to wipe out Christian communities. Because this silence allows genocide to grow. And as Igbo history teaches us, we must not be silent. We must also never forget. We must continue to demand justice. Please share this video to your audience in case you enjoyed watching the video. Also look through our channel. You'll find many other interesting videos to watch. Thank you and do have a very pleasant day.